In this video, we're going to show you how to take the most out of your show notes to boost your podcast and how you can create them with just one click using Podsqueeze. So how can show notes benefit your podcast? Even though each podcast has its unique show notes, typically most successful podcasts follow specific templates that include a sequence of sections. The first section that appears in the show notes is the episode summary. Typically, this is a short paragraph offering an overview of the content discussed in the episode. For optimal engagement, you'll want to keep your summary concise, aiming for a maximum of 100 words or around 3 sentences as recommended by the content writers at Spotify. Depending on the length of the podcast, this might be a little bit challenging, but it's important to make your summary easy to skim through. An alternative or complement to your podcast summary is to use highlights as bullet points. Many podcasters use bullet points to inform their audience about what they can expect to learn from the episode. But keep in mind that the key goal of your podcast summary is to pique interest, so include an intriguing hook and start with a provoking question while avoiding spoilers for your episode. After the episode summary, many professional podcasters add chapters with timestamps. Timestamped chapters make it easy for your audience to jump to the parts they're most interested in. And platforms like Spotify and YouTube automatically recognize timestamps in the episode description, turning them into clickable chapters that show up in the player. This feature not only enhances the overall listening experience, but it also helps keeping your audience engaged for longer. And the higher retention rate signals to platforms like YouTube that your content is compelling, which prompts the algorithm to recommend your podcast to a wider audience. For podcasters aiming to monetize their show, this next section is especially important. We typically refer to it as links and resources. In this section of your show notes, you should include all the relevant mentions of products, brands, and people for your audience to have quick access to. A straightforward method to earn money from your podcast is to place affiliate links in the links and resources section of your show notes. For instance, if there's a product you often talk about on your podcast, you can check on their website if they offer an affiliate program. If they do, you can include an affiliate link in the resources section, earning you a commission for each purchase made through that link. And remember to mention during your podcast that listeners can find all these resources in the show notes. Another section you'll definitely want to include is a call to action. For instance, if you're aiming to get people to purchase your product or service, or even subscribe to your Patreon, you might want to add this call to action closer to the top of your show notes. You can also use this section to ask your listeners to leave a review or follow on your social media platform. And lastly, consider adding the full transcript at the bottom of your show notes. Including full transcripts not only enhances your podcast accessibility for all listeners, but also boosts its discoverability on search engines by introducing a higher keyword density and variability. In fact, a study by 3Play Media showed that having a transcript on your podcast website increases search traffic and aids in building backlinks, which are crucial for SEO. Transcripts are typically too lengthy to paste to a podcast directories, as they often have a character limit. However, you can still add them to your show notes on your podcast website. Now, we understand that writing transcripts and show notes can be time-consuming and not the most thrilling part of podcasting. However, you can significantly streamline this process with Podsqueeze. All you have to do is upload your podcast episode, and in just a few minutes, Podsqueeze will generate all the content pieces you need to craft your own show notes, including episode descriptions, timestamps, bullet points, links, resources, and much more. That wraps up our video. If you have any questions or feedback, please leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more actionable podcasting tips. Bye for now.